Back at you with another episode of the Q&N Podcast. My name is Q.
And Nico.
And today, the first topic we're about to get into is technology. Do you guys feel like technology is slowing us down as a generation? What's your thoughts, Nick?
I think technology is slowing us down because it's babying us in a way.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do anything naturally anymore because we're depending on technology to do it for us. For a great example is using a GPS. Now, not only has technology evolved and gave us GPSs to use into our phones, but we also have the option of just simply sharing or sending your location of where you are.
That is a fact.
So now with the GPSs being a thing, or a person could just send me a location, you don't have to know, all right, well, if you head north, go south, do this, do that. If a person say give you about 6-7 different steps and directions, you don't have to be like, oh, I don't know how, like, say that again. You can just be like, just send me your location. Like, instead of explaining all that, just send me your location. So that's one way is handicapping us.
Well, do you feel like that's the case for everybody? Because I can listen to somebody on the phone, or they can give me some directions and I'll find it. I don't need the phone. As opposed to people that just use it, like for me, speaking for me, I'll use it if I don't feel like, looking for what I'm looking for, what I'm saying, without it. So I'll just use it because it's quicker. Just be real here. It's quicker to just do that instead of, trying to find it yourself, like for your own eyes driving around. But like I said, I can do both. I don't need the phone to find stuff like that. As far as GPS purposes, I don't need the phone. But like I said, it's just a quicker thing for me. If I don't feel like looking for it, I'll use the phone. If not, if it's like they give me direction, like you said, to make a left here, make a right here, I'll find it. I'm not that. I can remember stuff, but everybody doesn't have that ability. So I can understand why. Some people use the phone is, that's their first option.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm in between because it's many ways that it's slowing us down. GPS is one of them. I feel like it kills creativity in a way.
What do you mean?
Instead of using your own thoughts, you're looking up on Google, Bing, Yahoo, whatever search engine you use. You're looking it up, and you're not using your own thoughts. You're looking at other people's thoughts.
True, because I feel like that also has to do with, like, sometimes when people are looking up different, like, styles or different ways of doing certain things, you already know, I'm going to just look it up. Instead of, like you said, letting your creative juices flow.
Right.
Well, what about technology slowing us down as far as, what about what do you call it? The voice memo? Like, not the voice memo, but the voice button where you can tell the phone what to do. Like, Siri, call this person. Or instead of typing your words when you're texting, you can say, I do not want to do this, that, and the third. And it'll type that for you instead of you know how to spell. Or I've seen people do that when they can't spell a word. They say it and make the thing type it for them. I've seen that.
I feel like that's a good feature in a way. But I feel like when you abuse it or OD with it, it can become a problem. Yeah. If you're just using it like me, or I'm speaking for me, I'll just use it when I really, like, when my hands, I can't use my hands or something like that.
Right.
I'll use it then. But other than that, I'm not using it. If I can use my hands, I'm going to use my hands. But, I can't speak for everybody. Some people use it a lot. Like I said, they overuse it, and that's when it becomes a problem. So,
I think it's true. I try to only use it the same thing. Like, if my hands are preoccupied, if, like, I'm cooking, or if I'm typing at the moment, if I'm like on the computer typing homework or something like that. So it is a convenient setting on the phone, but a lot of people use that and that's just what they do. Like, I pay attention now to a lot of kids, technology is taking a lot of kids' attention as well. So I've noticed children who are 3 or 4 years old, they already know how to go to YouTube, how to press that speaker button and say PJ Masks, and the phone will put in PJ Masks, and PJ Masks episodes or videos will pop up for them because, of course, they don't know how to spell it at the moment. But is that teaching them how to, like, what is that really teaching them?
It's teaching them how to use technology.
Yeah.
Because they are being born in a technology age. When we were younger, we didn't have what they have. Like, we didn't have all those, those opportunities and resources. They're growing up in the age where you got iPhones, Samsung Galaxy.
I think they growing up. This is like the best time.
We had MP3 players, and we had first generation.
We had little games to play, but that goes into another conversation of kids and technology and how kids don't want to play outside anymore. They rather use technology.
I wasn't gonna take it there. That's you're right, but
we'll get into that.
But I don't think it's teaching them to learn how to use technology. As they grow up, they'll become more tech savvy because they've learned. They've been using it since they were a toddler, 3 or 4 or 5 years old. So that hinders. I feel like that hinders, their creativity and their learning abilities.
Yeah, because
only when it's not used in an appropriate way. When you use technology for a child, if half of it's educational, if they're learning something on the phone instead of looking up, videos or cartoons and stuff like that, games,
right?
Then you can balance it. It's all about a balance, with technology. To me, that goes for adults for us too.
Well,
If you can find a balance between, your real life and what you do in real life, and whatever you do on your phone, whether it's social media, taking pictures, videos, anything, any content, honestly, that you absorb, if you can find a balance between it, I feel like it'll work out. I just feel like when you have a more percentage of technology over your real life
thing going on,
that's when it becomes, an issue.
But then I also feel like it lets them know that they have an outlet, because for one, I personally feel that kids, to a certain extent, at a certain age, shouldn't be using the phones for those little things, like in case like a serious scenario is to keep them calm. But I also noticed that a lot of kids they're getting easily addicted to that.
Right. Don't put a media device in a child's face just because you want them to be quiet. It's not gonna help.
Yeah, because they just get addicted to it.
Right.
And then now you can't use I have kids that come to my job at the daycare, and instead of the parents letting them come to play with the other kids, they're letting the kids bring tablets. They're letting them bring gaming systems to play, little whatever you call them now. But they let them bring those, and those kids are sitting there being non-interactive with the other kids. But it's also, I feel like it's teaching them to, now I have an outlet. If I can't spell it, I can just ask the phone.
That's a fact.
How to spell it. Because kids have plenty enough sense to where they can understand that, like, wow, I said it and the phone gave me what I asked for. So when they get it, if that continues to happen, like if they're continuing to use the phone more and more and more and more, even another year, 2 years on, so when they turn 5 or 6 and it's time for grade school, but they can't spell a certain word or they can't count to a certain extent, the phone will tell them.
Right.
So I feel like it handicaps the kids and it handicaps the adults, slows them down in a way at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is not good though.
You just have to learn how to, unplug.
Yeah.
And just figure out, okay, how much content am I going to consume today? Mm-hmm. You don't think about that when you're on the phone, but you just, you unlock the phone, boom, you're right there.
Another good thing?
Click up a button, you can get to anything you want.
Another thing I just noticed too? Like, when you're on the phone, and like you just said, you just be on it doing nothing, whether it's on social media, you're just on YouTube. You notice how fast time goes when you just on these apps,
Randomly
not doing
scrolling.
nothing, just scrolling, just doing this. You spend all your time on social media accounts. You know how much time you...
That's why that, they have it now where you can look up how much time you've been spending on each app. So
yeah, and that's good. I had to do that for myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I had to do that for myself at one point. I could feel myself relying on the phone or the app for when I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you shouldn't be bored because you should be still doing something continuously, productively. So, what are you doing wrong that's leading you in all this boredom to where you have to keep relying, keep going to this app? And then I was like, I'm gonna really check myself. Like, I told myself, like, pay attention to yourself. So, I started to go to that setting, and once I realized the amount of hours I was spending on the app in one day, I said, okay, that's way too much. It's so much more you could be doing. So I created a type of system for myself. I came up with a list of things that need to be done for me, whether I had a homework assignment need to be done, or whether I need to finish something for work, whether like anything that because I feel like as people, there is always something we need to improve on, or that we should be working toward, or that we should be doing. Whether it's your reading, you can be a college graduate, but you can never stop learning. So I told myself, okay, you got all these lists of things you can do. So when you find yourself bored, you know what can I do? I go to that list and I say, you know what, I'm gonna do what's number 3 on this list right now. And I found myself not even an hour throughout the whole day on the app. I had like a reality.
It's very time consuming, and you can really soak up a lot of content, and however much time it takes. I mean, if you really look at a day's worth of what you've done,
right,
on a media device, it doesn't even have to be a phone, the computer, a tablet, the Fire Stick, TV, all of those things combined add up to who knows.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different, limit, but
I agree.
it's pure, man, because it's a lot, You just, like I said, you just have to learn to unplug from it sometimes, because it can take over your mind a little bit.
Right.
And I feel like it gives you a different way of thinking. Like it alters, your thinking process when it comes to certain things. That's what I took from it. Because I've experienced where I've been looking at things, in my phone, say like social media, and it really just, tweak things like in real life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, I had to catch myself because I'm like, this can't be real. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. It was just because I was so like I wasn't focused, but I was so drawn into my phone.
Yeah.
But it was like, man, I missed opportunities because I was in my phone.
Right. And I know another thing that helped me realize it. I was like, when I have to start saying, okay, the day's over with, what did I do today besides work and besides school? Because it's what most 21, 22-year-olds are doing right now, work and school, or one of the two of that nature. So I had to say, what else did you do today? And once I got to the point where I was like, wow, it's already 7 o'clock at night, or wow, it's already 3 in the afternoon, or whatever time it was, I had to say the day went by fast. But I feel like when you're productive and when you're not just killing the time on those apps, the time goes by a little slower. So you can sit there and say, okay, well, the day's going by at a good pace. The time's going by a little slow. So I really feel like, yeah, I don't know. You gotta really watch yourself because technology is slowing us down, and it's making us very codependent on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one last thing with technology. Another thing. What do you do when you don't know how to do something? Whether it's cooking or whether it's fixing something.
I mean,
or building something.
You look it up on YouTube or Google.
Exactly.
I mean,
but
that's a good thing and a bad thing. Only because everybody can't get, the right information. Correct. Even though it's a bunch of content out there that you could look up and it's right there. But as far as if you didn't use the phone, what if you have a bunch of people around you that don't know how to do it? You know, like what do you do?
That goes back to not learning how to or understanding how to read steps. Because remember, like we were watching this football player put a bed set together for his kids. But instead of just going on YouTube and watching them be like, okay, so this goes here. He sat there and read the manual, read the steps. But how many people can sit there, have the patience as well to spend a few hours reading a manual and following the directions? Because a lot of the times in the manuals, it's explained a little differently. Sometimes.
I mean, I think that they're straightforward to me. It just depends on the problem. It depends on what you're building. Correct.
But some people also don't know how to read instructions and apply it.
I think they're scared of the whole, like, it's a screw, 4 screws here. A bunch of stuff all in one that you have to put together yourself.
Right.
I think it's just, they look at it, it's like, oh, man.
But like you said, I think if that's throwing you off, then it's challenging your brain, and your brain, like, it's a challenge for your brain to see how it works, how it thinks, how it can put together those words, those instructions, and apply it to what's right in front of you.
Yeah, I just think it comes down to just fear and patience, like you said before.
Because some people won't try.
I'm not patient enough to do that.
Right.
They don't want to put in the time to just be like, okay, I'll do this myself. I didn't have to use YouTube. I didn't have to use Google.
Right.
So, yeah.
Even, it's just so many things. Like, I feel like the list can go on and on as far as how technology is handicapping us, slowing us down, and how now it's becoming a natural response for people to say, just look it up on YouTube, just look it up. So we just have to be very cautious of what we're doing and how we are letting technology help us in certain areas.
Right, I agree. So that wraps up this portion of the Q&N podcast.
Alright, see you guys in the next video. Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment another topic, what you would like us to talk about.
What you liked about this podcast, and any other topics that you want to see us talk about.
Alright, see you guys
without further ado.